William Clark was born into a Virginia plantation family in 1770, the youngest of 6 sons and the youngest brother of George Rogers Clark, the hero of the American Revolution on the western frontier. When he was 14, Clark's family moved to a new plantation in Kentucky, and he would spend the rest of his life on America's shifting frontier. Beginning in 1789, William Clark served as a military man in campaigns against the Indians of the Ohio Valley. He became an officer in 1792. However, 2 years later, he resigned from the Army to manage his family's plantations. During his time in the Army, Clark had become good friends with Meriwether Lewis, the personal secretary to Thomas Jefferson. Meriwether Lewis was appointed by Jefferson in 1803 to lead an exploration of the newly acquired Louisiana Purchase and area west of the Great Rock Mountains. Lewis was an intelligent and literate man who, although not a liability in the West, had room to improve on his frontiersman's skills. To fill this void and ensure the success of the expedition, Lewis enlisted the help of his old friend William Clark, a seasoned military man with unmatched abilities as a draftsman and frontiersman. In fact, Lewis even made Clark co-captain of the Corps of Discovery, the official name for the exploration. After several months studying astronomy and map-making, Clark joined Lewis as he traveled by keelboat down the Ohio River from Pittsburgh. Together they journeyed to Wood River, Illinois, at the confluence of the Missouri and Mississippi rivers, where they made final preparations over the winter. The rest of their expedition is as follows.
Ahoy, Clark!
What, Lewis?
Yeah,
What's up,
dude.
man?
How's it going, Clark?
Nothing much. I'm just fishing, bro.
Well, I got a proposition for you. How you want to go across the United States with me?
That sounds like a good time.
Yo, Louie!
What up, dude?
Whoa!
Dude.
Hey, man.
Mississippi. With my bro. The best bro, Clark. I'm just paddling.
Bro, hey, be quiet. I think that's Camp Wood.
Oh, hey. Welcome to Camp Wood.
The expedition spent their first winter in Camp Wood to prepare for the long, tough, upstream journey ahead to Fort Mandan in spring and summer of 1804. After a relatively mild winter brought favorable weather and high waters, the expedition was able to leave Fort Wood, just outside St. Louis, in May 1804, and journey to Fort Mandan, where they would spend their second winter.
Hey, boys. We need to winter up somewhere. It's getting too cold. And I need to take some notes.
All right, I think this spot looks good. Come on. Come on, Louie. All right. Come on, we're going here.
That winter, Lewis and Clark each had their own way of helping the expedition. Lewis took notes and journaled about the landscape and wildlife, while Clark hunted and mapped the land.
Get the ski. We're eating tonight.
The expedition reached the Mandan villages in present-day North Dakota in October 1804. Their stay with the Mandan made it clear how much Lewis and Clark would need to rely upon the goodwill of the Indian people for their success. The Mandans gave them food, protection, and valuable information about the path ahead. However, their most valuable help came in the form of Toussaint Charbonneau, a French-Canadian whom they hired as an interpreter, and his Shoshone wife, Sacagawea, who provided help as a guide and an interpreter. It was said that her very presence helped ensure good relations with the Indian people. As William Clark noted, "We find that she reconciles all the Indians. As to our friendly intentions, a woman with a party of men is a token of peace." The expedition set out once again up the Missouri to present-day Three Forks, Montana, choosing to follow the westernmost tributary, the Jefferson River. This route delivered the Corps directly to the Shoshone Indians, who were skilled at traversing the Great Rock Mountains with horses. Once over the Bitterroot Mountains, the Corps of Discovery shaped canoe-like vessels that transported them swiftly downriver to the mouth of the Columbia, where they wintered at Fort Clatsop on the south side of the river. After winter, Lewis, Clark, and the other members of the expedition returned to St. Louis in September of 1806 to report their findings to Jefferson. Along the way, they continued to trade what few goods they still had with the Indians and set up diplomatic relations with the tribes. Additionally, they recorded their contact with the Indians and described the shape of the landscape and the creatures of the new western world. In doing so, they fulfilled many of Jefferson's wishes for the expedition. Along the way, William Clark drew a series of maps that were remarkably detailed, noting and naming rivers and creeks, significant points in the landscape, the shape of the river shore, and spots where the Corps spent each night or camped or portaged for long periods of time. Later explorers used these maps to further probe the western portion of the continent. In conclusion, the Lewis and Clark expedition initiated America's expansion westward and ingrained in every American's mind the early ideas of manifest destiny.
In the night I hear them talk the cold story.